They have been called the sandwich generation, those who care for ageing parents while still looking after their own children at home. A new report suggests 1 in 5 middle-aged people are part of it.
Well, the study by the Institute of Education says women in their 50s are those shouldering most of the responsibility, and their health may be suffering as a result.
We'll be talking about the pressure they're under in just a moment. First, though, let's take a look at a mother of 2, Anna Morby, on a typically busy day.
Yeah, hold Mummy's hand. Just walk us now. Yeah, keep going, up there. Good girl. I've lived with my father having MS since 1980, so we just get on with it. It is quite tiring looking after both sides, Granny and Papa, looking after the children, working as well, obviously. I had to go part-time this last year because it just got to the point that I needed to be part-time, having Dad at home in Kendal and 2 young children that need Mummy at home as well. Chef Granny's cottage pie. Oh, aren't we lucky? The hard part is trying to fit it all in. So the children are getting what they need, we're getting what we need, and Granny and Papa are also getting what they need. I'm very lucky being able to count on my wider family. I have a big family who help tremendously, and without them we really couldn't do it.
Well, that's Anna talking about her day-to-day life. She's here with us in the studio. Morning to you. You've got a break for at least a few hours to talk to us. Thank you very much. And Deborah Stone, who set up a website giving advice to people with ageing parents. Morning, both. We just saw there, Deborah, didn't we, about Anna's sort of daily life, and she's not alone in this, is she?
No, not at all. This is something that affects so many families, and increasingly so in this country, as people are having children later, and many parents are living a lot longer and unfortunately often in ill health. So it's a very stressful situation where you're trying to juggle children and elderly parents, and obviously most people are working at the same time.
We saw, Anna, how you do that juggling act. How would you rate the quality of your life overall as a result of doing that?
Well, really, I just try to do everything to the best that I can, and we don't let it get in our way, actually. We carry on doing everything that any normal, if you can say that, family would do. We go on holiday, we make sure we have time to live life to the full as well. So I wouldn't say it actually interrupts our quality of life.
You spend a lot of time, as we saw, looking after your dad. Your mum is a full-time carer, and she's now hurt herself. So that gets even more complicated for you. She's hurt her ankle, hasn't she?
Yes, she literally, so on Wednesday when it all happened, I had to drop everything and obviously go up to Kendal to look after my father full-time for the last 5 days. My mum came out of hospital yesterday, and then all the cousins came over, my uncles, to help for the rest of this week when I'll go back up at the weekend.
So it takes a lot of organisation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Deborah, would it be fair to say there's no solution for a situation like this? It's just a question of how to manage it.
That's right. I think what we always advise on the website is that the best thing to do is to plan ahead, and nobody wants to discuss with their parents what's going to happen when they get old. But if you do have those conversations early, it helps everybody, because you have to remember that your parents have led independent lives for a long time, and they don't want to lose that independence. They will have a say in what they want to do in the future. So getting them to think about how they might plan for care, what sort of care they'd want, how they might finance that, whether they want to downsize, what the legal implications are, have they made their will, do they want to grant power of attorney to you at such time that you might need it. All of these things will help you in the future when you do come to have crises, as you've just been describing.
OK, I'll ask Anna a couple of those questions in a second, but first of all, Deborah, as well, what about if, because Anna can go up and down, as she says, she has to put things on hold, but if you live far away from your parents, what can you be doing to help them?
Well, you can do a lot actually to care from a distance. Obviously it's not ideal, but these days there's various things you can use, such as Skype is a great thing to use for your parents, where it's a very easy piece of technology to set up. It's just a touch of a button, and you can actually talk to your parents in person once or twice a day. That does a lot to keep in touch and combat loneliness. There's lots of local organisations who can help you, who run door-to-door transport services such as the RVS. Most local authorities run the handyman services, which most people don't know about. And of course we live in an age where assistive technology is improving all the time, so you can make sure that your parents' home is as safe as possible, even from the basics like grab rails to making sure that you've tidied wires away and that the stairs are safe so that nobody's going to trip. There's lighting is correct, and all those sorts of things which means that the crises are less likely to happen in terms of falls and day-to-day problems at least.
Yeah.
When medical crises hit, obviously it's more difficult, but then at least you might be a little bit more prepared.
Yeah. We had a lot of people getting in touch with us about this, Anna, this morning, and Liz saying life is a constant juggling act. It's difficult to prioritise who needs you more. Sally says it's very stressful being so much to everybody and having to hold down a full-time job. Our lives don't feel our own. Do you ever feel that you're living your life for other people in that respect?
I try not to, because I just try to enjoy every second of it. I feel it's very important to make sure whatever is thrown at us, we embrace and take it on. So that's how I try and look at it, really.
And we'd also talked about the planning, Deborah talking about planning and all those sort of awkward discussions they are as well. Do you try and broach those?
I really do, actually.
Do you?
And I have done this weekend as well, because our house isn't, my mum and dad's house isn't brilliantly set up yet. And we're holding off on it, really. We've got the chairlift in, we've got grab rails, but we have looked at the next stage with occupational therapy of installing a lift, hoists, getting the hoists in. So we are at that stage now, and it's sort of trying to push them in that direction, really.
But it is all about thinking of the next step before the crisis hits home, isn't it?
Definitely. And before it hits, this has hit me this week with mother not being able to look after father. So suddenly everybody's had to come on board and learn what to do, really.
All right.
Thank you both very much for talking to us. I know lots of you are talking about that as well. We'll be talking about it a little bit later too. Thanks very much for sending in your message. Chris says that this should be the way of things. Families, family, grandparents looking after you, you're young while you're at work, all living in a house which you all contributed to and paid for would make sense. That's Chris's idea.